KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, mostly cloudy skies, 85, wind out of the south at around 6 miles an hour. Still a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorm this evening. That'll continue into tonight. 40% chance of rain, mainly after 2 in the morning, with a low of 71. That chance for rain and thunderstorms continues into tomorrow morning, mainly before 10 a.m., continuing the pattern of the last couple of days. After that, a gradual clearing of the clouds with a high near 89. 50% chance of rain and thunderstorms Thursday night. That'll continue to Friday morning, mainly before 7 a.m. After that, a high near 86. The game is up next on News Radio KMAN.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Will there be changes to the K-State football pregame show that the band puts on Saturdays at Bill Snyder Family Stadium? Will there be changes, period? We'll talk all about it coming up with Dr. Alex Wimmer. He is the new director of bands at K-State. He'll be in studio with us to talk to us for a few moments about taking the job, taking over for Frank Trace, who is, of course, with the K-State band for 33 years. Alex Wimmer has earned the job. He has been with K-State for about a decade and a half, and he'll be coming in to talk about taking the job. And will things change? Will they be the same? And I do want to ask him the question, if you are a band member, how long should it take you to learn to play the fight song? Does it take
It's a great question.
a couple of days, 5 days? Do you get a week to do it? How long should it take to learn the fight song?
You got to think, they're pretty proficient with whatever instrument they're playing. Maybe it's one practice and they got the actual melody down.
The Summer of Coleture will continue today. Culture, Coleture, as Cole every week is watching a sports movie for the first time, and he is giving it a grade. He watched Rudy last weekend. He gave it a 9.1, the second highest rated movie yet. Cole's barely watched anything in his life, folks, so we're culturing him one movie at a time. We are drawing for that next movie later on in our first hour. A local high school coach has retired after nearly 40 years of coaching, plus about 50 years of just being a teacher. Are the Royals doing okay? It's all coming up here in 2 hours of the show. Plus, on tomorrow's show, it is our annual The Game night, where we're bringing back former hosts to play all of our favorite games that we've done over the years. And what that also means is we are absolutely on the horizon to really start digging deep into talking about K-State football and preseason coverage and really breaking it down about what the Cats have in store for 2026. A lot of questions still on the list as well that still need to be answered. But press conference will be starting in a couple of weeks. Practice starts next week. There's still a lot to talk about. 20 questions in 20 shows will start on Monday. We ready to go to kick things off with our special guest? It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. AEW Dynamite tonight from Detroit, Michigan, where it is the first episode since the Redemption pay-per-view, which it really wasn't an exciting pay-per-view going in. Turned out not to be too bad. But right now, we are building towards AEW All in London from Wembley Stadium, and that is coming up at the end of August. I was actually looking at, maybe could I pull off a last-minute booking of a trip to London? I was just kind of looking to see what the prices would cost to book a London trip within a month of it actually happening. I could fly there for less than $1,000.
It's not bad.
I don't think that's bad at all, especially when I could fly out of Manhattan.
Really?
For that price.
That's not bad at all.
And tickets aren't that bad. Hotel, altogether, would be $1,300. That's not bad.
Is that getting you back too?
That's everything.
Wow.
With the exception of food.
I'm impressed.
But, beans on toast, you can find it at every corner, bodega there in every pub there in London. Guys, it is KSO Day. We are joined today by the man in charge, Derek Young from K-State Online. DY, let's have a little bit of fun here to kick off. I'm going to give you 3 movies. I'm going to have you start, bench, cut. You're a sports movie guy, right?
I'm not a movie buff in general. Sports wise is the easiest way to get me in the conversation. I should know it.
All right, let me try this here. I'll pick one like ranked high, ranked in the middle, and ranked low here from Cole here. Field of Dreams. Let's go Little Giants. And let's go Rudy. Start, bench, cut.
Oh, that's pretty interesting trio. The Little Giants is entertaining, perhaps the most entertaining of the 3, to be quite honest. But
I could see that argument. Yeah. But
from a quality standpoint, in terms of how it's made, directed, and produced, clearly like an acting cast, so to speak, and how much money went into it, it is nowhere near Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams is probably, even if it's not the most entertaining of the 3, Field of Dreams is the best movie of those 3. It's just a tough watch because it's not going to keep you on your toes right from start to finish, but from just how it's made and what all went into it, pretty well done. It's probably the best. So I will start that one, and I will probably bench the Little Giants. I will cut Rudy in terms of an entertainment standpoint, and also the investment that went into it, how it was made. I'm not really impressed.
Okay. Yeah, Cole gave Rudy a 9.1. Which I also make the argument about Rudy, like if it was to come out today, like sports movies are really made like Rudy today. Back in the 90s, Rudy was kind of a different kind of sports. Field of Dreams is that kind of way, but you had a lot of kids movies, you had a lot of comedies, sports movies coming at that time. But he gave Field of Dreams a 3.8. But I think of it from a cinema.
Field of Dreams is long, and it can be a tough watch if you're not completely invested. It's just the most quality of the 3, not the most entertaining of the 3. I think those are, it's like 2 different ways to view a movie or critique a movie, and it's very much polarizing because of that. The issue I have with Rudy is, and I know this is not going to be loved by many of those listening, considering the fan base that we're enveloped in, but like the underdog walk-on story, that loses me a little bit, but just not because of the entire premise of it, but there was a lot that was, to be honest, a little unrealistic about it. Like that stuff, some of the stuff that happened in that movie does not happen in real life. Like you can call it nonfiction, but there was a lot of fiction to that plot because that does not happen. I also think in this new era, I understand what you're saying in terms of Rudy fitting in, but I think we're losing the walk-on component of things. So I don't know if it necessarily relates to this era as well as you tried to suggest.
Yes, as a coach of mine told me back in the year 2009 that I was going to walk on at K-State and be the K-State Rudy, he says, don't do it. You're going to get killed. Yes, but even back then with lesser pads and definitely more brutal practices than what it would be even today, even 10 years ago. Yeah, Sean Astin and both The Real Rudy did say it's a pretty accurate movie. What was very Hollywood was the chanting of Rudy during the game, or like the players like all being willing to hand
in their jersey and quit. Like that's not
total
realistic.
fiction. Yes,
Yeah, that's total fiction.
Dan Devine said that if a player would have put their jersey on the table and said, "Put Rudy in my place," that player would have never seen the jersey again. That's a coach for you from 1974, whatever it was.
That's fair, but I also don't think kids are unselfish enough to do that. Really, not at least not a full team.
Well, now we're making money. Got to be on that field.
Yeah, it's a different era.
You know what? Speaking of, let's stick with K-State football here. You know, kind of a main topic on the show this week has just been talking depth chart, depth at position groups, just kind of breaking it all down by position. You know, feel free to answer this the way you want, but I guess, is there a concern on the depth chart for you right now before we even see one you feel really good about? Just where does your gut take you right now? You know, heading into, you know, of course, we're going to get to the fall press conferences here in a week or two.
Well, here I'll go just a quick synopsis of each one. We'll start with the offense. At quarterback, I feel okay. I'm not as down in the dumps or as discouraged about the trajectory of Avery Johnson as some, while understanding and recognizing that he has yet to meet the hype at this point in his career based on the standards and expectations that we all, and us included, like we're part of the problem, set for him when he was as a recruit. The idea of Avery Johnson still, this is how I've always, or not always, this is how I've recently been describing the situation. The idea of Avery Johnson is too intriguing to look away and move on from. So that's why we're still in this point of believing that it's going to work out. But it's also, the idea is also far outweighed the reality to this point. So he's in a now or never year. I like the backfield quite a bit. I need Joe Jackson to be a little bit more consistent, but combining that with Rodney Fields kind of, to me, covers up any question marks that might have been there. Like if it was just Joe Jackson again, I might be a little skeptical, but Rodney Fields is almost that security blanket in case it doesn't work. And together, I think they'll be pretty productive. And that doesn't even count Jay Harris, of course. Receivers, I think they'll be solid. I don't know that the upside is tremendous, but I think the floor is pretty high. And that's a little bit different from past years. I think the tight end has a chance to be one of the best in the Big 12. I still need to see it to believe it for parts of the offensive line, but they've begun to convince me to be less concerned based on how they've described that unit in recent weeks, calling it whether it's they're underappreciated or underrated. So I'm starting to, at least, hopefully they're not tricking me, at least be convinced that that's going to be a strong unit. It was not last year, and obviously they're still turning over quite a bit in that room. The defensive line has some holes. I remain in the see it to believe it or having to be proven category on everyone besides Wendell Gregory. Like, do they have enough outside of him? We'll see. Linebackers, they're calling it pretty deep. Again, it's almost in the see it to believe it department for me. Rex Van Wy and Gabe Powers have played a lot of college football at this point in their careers. They're pretty old, they're pretty experienced, they're pretty mature. But last year, I think they left a little bit to be desired on the football field. That doesn't mean they will this year, but I got to see it to believe it. And also collaborate that with Asa Newsom as well, who, again, that's another situation where the idea is far outweighed the reality, right? Because of all the injuries. Maybe Darian Whitaker will be a home run hit. It sounds like they love him, his athleticism, his explosiveness, all that. He's played very little football. He's just a redshirt freshman, I believe. And obviously, I think they'll get what they need on Mekhi Mason. But question marks abound outside of him when it comes to the linebacker unit. The secondary, most of them, like prediction magazines, have that as the best group on the defense. I would probably agree. They seem to have enough guys there to where you would think that they figure it out. Adrian Maddox, before he chose to redshirt, just in order to preserve another year of eligibility, was getting meaningful snaps for Georgia. If he's doing that, I'd have to think that he's going to have a lot of success in the Big 12. Logan Bartley's on the right trajectory. There's enough other guys there that have played a good amount of college football where you think the depth is going to be okay. like a Jack Fabris, Wesley Fair. Having those guys basically be your depth and not your starters probably says a lot about that room. Zayshawn Rich could at one point be considered the best cornerback in the Big 12 if he realizes his potential. He got close to it last year. Donovan McIntosh needs a bounce back year, of course, but Caleb Patterson is a good security blanket to have. I think he's underrated, really, in terms of the pickups that they've had on the defensive side of the ball through the transfer portal. I think he could be a considerable impact player for the Wildcats this year. And the nickel is going to be Jason Prevard, who was really good at Virginia, or MJ Graham, who they loved out of JUCO so much that he really emerged in the spring. I just think you have enough answers in the secondary to feel good about it.
Yeah, I think everything you said, I think, was pretty much on the same page of kind of how I broke it down the last couple of days. And bringing up the secondary, I kind of put a question to every position group just to kind of, push along the conversation. But I mentioned with the secondary, can this be the deepest group on defense? I think they got a lot of luxury pieces that not every position group has, especially when you're going to have a backup corner that has quite a bit of starting experience in the Big Ten. I think that's a special thing to have. You have that at running back, but you wish you had it a little bit more places. But to have those in those key areas is pretty special.
I agree, but I think what happens to the offensive line and defensive line will determine probably just how many games Kansas State can win. There's probably a safe floor there. You would think of at least 7 wins. A lot of people want to say more than that. I caution a little bit, just because this was basically a 6-6 football team that underachieved last year. You have a first-time Power 4 D coordinator, a first-time head coach. And we all think he's going to be great, and he probably will, but he's still a first-time head coach. There is still some things that can complicate matters this season. I say 7 wins because you feel really good probably about where you are at most spots, but the line of scrimmage is important, and those are where some of the most question marks are, and that's not necessarily ideal. But again, what kind of at least limits that a little bit is, and also is conducive to whether you can win at least 7 games, is on paper a pretty soft schedule.
That has to always be taken into consideration when you're putting a win total on this K-State team, that their schedule right now, it looks like it's pretty winnable. I'm always going to argue that it's probably going to end up being tougher than it actually you look at it in the preseason, most likely. Another thought on the offensive line is, like, even though with the questions of depth, I already have, I'm sure you're the same. The left side of the line is pretty much figured out, I would think, right? John Pastore, Tanner Morley, and then the center you have Delvin Morris. I mean, you might have 2 NFL draft picks potentially right there. Yet we're still kind of iffy on how good it could potentially be. I'm not really too worried about John Pastore. It feels like really on the right side is where all the questions are. Like, is George Fitzpatrick, is he actually going to play? Gus Hawkins, is he going to start? Does Oliver Miller get in the mix? Like, no idea who the right guard is going to be. Like, that's where I'm actually the more questionable about than I'm actually at the defensive tackle position. I'm going to have to go the right side of the line on that.
Yeah, the right side of the offensive line, you just don't know who's going to eventually take over those slots. At right guard, you'd have to think that Charlie Adams is in the mix, the Dylan Villaruel is in the mix, the Keaton Jones is in the mix, assuming that Delvin Morris is going to be the center. And then right tackle, you have George Fitzpatrick, Gus Hawkins, both coming off, health setbacks of sorts to their own degree and extent from this past year. So does Tyler Johnson, the transfer from Auburn, does he ever come into the picture and become a factor? Who knows? A defensive tackle, I think you at least have, and we'll see, because we're going off of what we're hearing more than what we have seen before, just because it's not like we're sitting there watching every single football practice. It's not like we've sat there and watched every single game that all these transfers played prior to coming to Kansas State. But you would think that at the very least, the defensive tackle, you feel good about Kamari Burns. We'll see what happens the rest of the outside of him.
One more quick question on football. Brandon White, is he getting more preseason hype than Deron Tibbs last year?
Ooh, he might be, just because last year Jerron Tibbs got some hype, obviously, and we were all projecting him to take that next step forward after a pretty strong season at Purdue the year prior. But we also still knew that Jerron Bradley was coming in, that they still had Jace Brown. This year, I think you probably have more guys that can contribute or might be ready to contribute. But I don't know if there's that household name that's necessarily overshadowing. So it might just feel that way because Brandon White is kind of alone in that buzz, in that hype, because Josh Manning is new. Jerron Tibbs has been here now for a little bit, and he missed most of spring. So it might be similar. It's different dynamics that are coming into play too.
All right, last thoughts here, and we'll let you go here, DY. Any updates that we need to know about recruiting? Maybe even with basketball, with seen a number of announcements here lately.
Football's a little bit slower, just because I think they're almost, I wouldn't say full speed ahead, but they are diverting a lot of attention now towards the 2028 and even 2029 classes, because the 27 commits they have, I don't think they have any intentions on expanding that number unless something unfortunate were to happen, such as losing one of those 27 commits. So it'll be about buttoning them down even further, and they have a few that are already getting attention from elsewhere, and they'll have to contend with that probably every day between now and signing day. So that'll be an interesting watch to follow. Just a couple right now are Jack Claiborne, the junior college offensive tackle commit, and Logan Davis, a corner from the state of Texas, both getting some attention from elsewhere. And there's probably even more than that, if we're being honest, and going to continue to be more. That's what happens when you assemble a strong recruiting class. On the basketball front, that's probably a little bit more lively right now. They just had two guys coming in on official visit, and Davis Cochran and Victor Abaroa, 2 4-star prospects. I would probably give them a better chance with Cochran, but the quicker you can get those things done, the better. The longer the wait is, more schools tend to kind of become factors and get them on campus, and then it becomes a little bit more of a contentious and competitive recruitment. I say Cochran is the better chance, just because I think there is a longer standing relationship between he and Casey Alexander and this new K-State staff, just based on recruiting him as much as they did even prior to this year while they were at Belmont, because he is a Nashville kid.
All right, DY, appreciate you coming on. It's been a long time, so thanks for stopping by. We'll see you at a press conference here shortly. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, anytime.
Derek Young from K-State Online, of course. What a great place to keep up with the Cats. K-State Online, covering recruiting, covering daily storylines, everything you're looking for. K-State Online does a phenomenal job with all of that. All right, let's take a break. Still to come, hour number 2, new K-State Director of Bands, Dr. Alex Wimmer, will be joining us. When we come back, the Summer of Culture continues. The next movie, we'll draw for it. We'll find out what it is when we come back. You're listening to The Game.
The radical left know you'd never vote for their judges. So far-left lunatics from the New York ACLU are pouring millions into Kansas, dominating the airwaves with a bunch of lies. It's simple. Right now, we have no control over who sits on our state Supreme Court. It's all decided by the rich leftist elite to benefit them, not us. The rich liberals think they're smarter than we are. They think we don't notice that our Supreme Court is weak and soft on crime, that it went easy on murderers, including the notorious Carr brothers and Devontae Wash. But we know better, and together we can stop the radical left. Stop soft on crime judges. Stop their radical agenda. And we do it by voting yes on the Right to Vote Amendment. This Tuesday, August 4th, vote yes on the Right to Vote Amendment. Paid for by Kansans for Democracy. Kayla Glaze, Treasurer.
First impressions matter. Your home makes a statement about you. It's where you recharge and make your lasting memories. Tallgrass Windows and Doors knows that you want windows that reflect your style and leave a lasting impression. Do you want an entrance designed with Tallgrass Windows and Doors that says, "Welcome home. We've been expecting you"? Check out their showroom floor in Wamego or Lawrence. And visit their website at tallgrasswindows.com to start exploring your options to your dream home. Tallgrass Windows. Excellence without exception.
Hey Manhattan, we're the folks who own Manhattan Ford, and yeah, we're new in town.
So if we wave at you in traffic, we ain't flirting, we're just being polite.
But listen, if you're looking for a good pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, we've got a whole lot of them, not to mention all the new rides in stock.
Clean, reliable, and not one of them smells like old fast food and regret.
And if your ride starts acting funny, squeaking, shaking, or that dash is lit up like a Christmas tree,
our service department's ready for oil changes, tires, and repairs.
Manhattan Ford on Highway 24.
Come see us, we'll treat you right.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Baker Mayfield's NFL journey has been anything but typical for a number one overall pick. Instead, it's been defined by setbacks and the ability to prove doubters wrong. After leading Cleveland to its first playoff win in decades, a serious shoulder injury changed everything. The Browns moved on. Carolina became a disaster. And at one point, Mayfield was even taking reps on the scout team defense during practice. Then came Los Angeles, where he reminded people why he was the first pick in the draft. Tampa took a gamble from there, and it paid off big. Mayfield has revived his career, earned 2 Pro Bowl selections, and became the leader the Buccaneers were searching for after Tom Brady's retirement. Now comes the business side. For years, Tampa has enjoyed starting caliber quarterbacks at a discount, but not anymore. The Buccaneers, if they hesitate, there's no shortage of teams willing to pay for one of the best comeback stories. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250.
I'm Cole Betchendorf with the Game Sports Update, brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. Longtime Manhattan High School girls basketball coach and mathematics teacher Scott Mall has retired effective immediately. New MHS Athletics Director Shad Spilsky confirmed to News Radio KMAN last night. Mall spent more than 3 decades helping shape the Manhattan High girls basketball program, starting as an assistant coach. His teams captured the 2017 Class 6A state championship while establishing one of the state's most consistent programs. In addition to coaching, Mall spent 36 years as a math teacher at Manhattan High, part of a 48-year career in education. He acquired 512 victories during his head coaching career, finishing with a 464 and 262 record after 33 seasons at MHS. The Royals blew their 20th ninth inning lead of the season last night, entering the final inning with a 2-1 lead and losing 3-2 after the Twins rallied to win Game 1 of a 3-game series in Minneapolis. It was Royce Lewis who delivered the heroics for Minnesota, hitting a 2-run walk-off triple to win it for the Twins. Seth Lugo had a solid start for Kansas City, going 6 innings of 1-run ball. The Royals turned 5 double plays, the most by a big league team this year and the most in a game for KC since 2018. Game 2 tonight, pregame at 6, first pitch 6:40 on K-Man.
All right, well, we're back. The game on K-Man. As we continue the Summer of Culture, Dr. Alex Wimmer joining us at 5:05. He is the new K-State Director of Bands, taking over for Dr. Frank Trace. Cole, the last movie you watched was Rudy. You gave it a 9.1. You know, you've now watched 12 movies this summer.
Yeah, we've been flying through them.
It is a sign of how fast the summer will go, and I think we still have time for like 5 more, which we have more than 5 movies in the bucket that we draw randomly every time for a movie for you to watch that you've never seen in your life. There's some big time classics still in there. Some aren't as classic. I'll air quote they're classic, but I've still enjoyed them over the years. Now, you're about to find out what this movie is because I'm going to play you the trailer here. I will say I believe this is a kind of sports movie you have not watched yet.
Okay.
This is going to be a different one. I think you've heard of it. And also, we haven't had too many basketball movies.
We haven't.
All right, Cole, here's your next movie for the Summer of Culture.
Oh, it is hard work being this good. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts. Come on, baby. Give it up. Turn it loose.
It's not about black.
I don't mean to brag, but I'm the greatest.
That's because you never saw me.
It's not about white.
Honey, I'm home.
How much money did you make today?
I missed you too.
I'm sorry, honey.
It's about green.
I want to find out how good you are, chump.
Come on!
I'm your white shadow. I have a business proposal for you, as if you don't mind hustling.
What kind of hustle?
$500, baby, and you can pick my teammate.
Give him the chump. You mean play basketball?
Hey, pretty boy, I got something for you. Shut your anorexic, malnutrition, tapeworm having, overdose, Dick Gregory, Bahamian diet drinking ass up. Give me my money. I seen you hustle.
Hey, I never use no good mother. Hey, who you calling white mother? You.
Well, editing there.
500 divided by 2. How much do you love me?
I love you, infinity.
Oh, Billy, you're so stupid. You should have said I love you infinity plus infinity.
We shoot you, Billy, but first we want the money. There are rules to hustling. There's an ethics involved.
Yeah, that you wouldn't know a damn thing about.
Will you explain to this Gladys Knight and the pimps?
It's pips. The pips.
Winning and losing is all one big organic globule.
I hate it when you talk like that. You got that big Z in your fro, man. What are you, the Black Zorro?
What are you doing?
I'm doing 2 things.
What?
I'm making them mad. Most guys don't play good when they're mad.
Look, you know you're embarrassing me. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing I'm doing.
I only have 4 words for you. White men can't jump.
All right, there it is, Cole. You are watching from 1992, made by 20th Century Fox. It is a movie that's about 2 hours. Rudy wasn't even that long, maybe close to it. But you're going to be watching the R-rated movie, White Men Can't Jump. Do you have a kind of could you tell by the trailer about exactly what this movie is about?
White dude needs some money, and so he goes to the courts to try to earn some by hustling players.
Yeah, so basically he's going to courts in LA where black people are playing. You know, it's playing on the he's a white guy, how good could he be? And he kind of plays that role until he actually gets on the floor and he's a hustler. Yes, he's making money off of these bets by playing basketball because the opponents underestimated him. And then, Wesley Snipes plays against Woody Harrelson's. I forget the character names. One of them's Sydney, but I don't remember which one it is. But anyway, so Wesley Snipes.
Billy is Woody Harrelson. Okay. Sydney is Wesley.
So Sydney is Wesley Snipes. Okay. So anyway, Sydney gets duped by Billy, and Wesley Snipes is like, "I got a proposal for you. How about we take this, this
endeavor?
Con, basically
yes.
This con. Let's take it around LA and go to different neighborhoods and let's hustle and let's make a lot of money off of these people." And that is until we find out that Billy owes a lot of bad people some money. And so Sydney gets in the middle of that, and it's a really solid movie. I was looking at the ratings of this because I haven't seen this in a while. It's been a few years. A 75% on Rotten Tomatoes is not bad. It's 6.8 from IMDb, but I remember that. I remember it being better than that. But that's my 2 cents. That's my opinion. I remember this being like one of the first R movies I ever watched. Like I had to watch this when I was 5th or 6th graders. Like the first time I probably ever ever watched it, you can find it on HBO all the time, like that kind of stuff. But it is, I mean, I would say it's a pretty serious movie. I mean, there's some comedy moments in there when they're playing basketball, but in this life, business is business. And so I think it's a different kind of movie that you've been watching for a while here. It's definitely not a Rudy. It's not a Bad News Bears. It's obviously not a kid's movie.
Not a Field of Dreams?
It's certainly no. I like it a lot more than Field of Dreams, that's for sure. It's just, I don't think you've watched this kind of movie yet. This is going to be a different
I really
kind
like
of
Woody
movie.
Harrelson, and I loved Wesley Snipes in Blade. So if that's anything, then I'll hopefully enjoy this movie.
Okay. Well, you get extra days to watch it because obviously we're going to be doing all games tomorrow. But I'm not going to have you rate the movie. We'll wait until, and we're off Friday, so we'll wait until Monday. So you'll have plenty of opportunity. And I'm also going to try to rewatch White Men Can't Jump as well. Because, again, I probably haven't watched it since college.
Refresh the memory a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I'm
looking forward to it.
I just want to see, it's one of those things that's like watching it as not just an adult, but as an older adult now, maturing. I'll probably pick up on more things than maybe I didn't pick up on back when I was watching it for the first time as a kid.
Sense.
I understand things more, and so that might change the movie for me a little bit. I don't think it's going to change it for the worse, though, or make it a bad movie in any way. I think you're going to enjoy it. I know I'll enjoy it. If you've ever seen White Men Can't Jump, go and give it a 0 out of 10 rating, 785-537-1350. We'll take a break. We still got Are the Royals Doing Okay? Dr. Alex Wimmer joining us here in a few moments as well. You're listening to The Game.
No on the constitutional amendment to elect our judges. This vote is about far more than judicial elections. It will have lasting consequences for public schools and children in Kansas.
Hi, I'm Jamie Morris Hardiman, former city commissioner and current school board member. This vote is about whether Kansas wants to change one of the key checks and balances that has protected our constitutional rights, including the right to an adequately funded public education.
President Masterson of the Kansas Senate has said publicly that passage of the amendment will allow his group to stop adequately funding our public school students.
In fact, this current legislature failed its legal obligation to fully fund special education. It took a Supreme Court case in 2005 to enforce our Constitution and get the legislature to adequately fund our schools.
Please come out and vote no. If you're an independent voter, you're eligible also. Advanced voting began July 15th. Paid for by the Flint Hills Coalition for Fair Courts, Mike Dodson Chair, Tom Hawk Treasurer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
With Chris Canty.
He provides the entertainment and he goes overboard in seasons where he doesn't think his team on the field can provide the level of entertainment that he knows the fan base is looking for. He's been quiet this offseason. What that tells me is that Jerry thinks he's got a winner here with Dallas. Now, here's the thing. He's been quiet. The team has not. If you look at what the Dallas Cowboys have done this offseason, they got a player in George Pickens who's a 1,000-yard receiver that's on the franchise tag. Check that box. They traded for Rashawn Gary, former first-round pick from the Green Bay Packers. Check that box. They traded for an off-the-ball linebacker, San Francisco, D. Winters. Check that box. They had 2 first-round draft picks, Malachi Lawrence from Central Florida, and then Caleb Downs from Ohio State, who a lot of people think, pound for pound, could be the best player in this draft. So the Dallas Cowboys, they have had a very busy offseason.
Drip Drop is doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better.
Trusted by firefighters, medical professionals, and over 90% of top college and pro sports teams. Drip Drop is engineered to hydrate faster and more effectively than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use promo code RADIO20 for 20% off your first order. That's dripdrop.com, promo code RADIO20.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
News Radio, KMAN, weather.
Right now in Manhattan, mostly cloudy skies, 85, slight breeze out of the south at around 6 miles an hour. Still a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms heading into the evening. Then tonight, 40% chance of rain, mainly after 2 in the morning. That'll continue until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. After that, a gradual clearing of those clouds with sunny skies and a high near 89. Tomorrow night, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms after midnight with a low of 72. Then a high of 86 on Friday.
We're getting a bunch of 8s in here, Cole. A lot of 8s for White Men Can't Jump. So I would say that's good news for you.
They're setting the bar high.
Even though you didn't like Field of Dreams, right? You gave it a bad rating. I can't remember if you said, did you actually in any way enjoy the movie?
Not really.
Okay, so you just didn't even enjoy it.
I just kind of hated every part of it.
I want to give a shout out to somebody. They announced the retirement yesterday. Just wanted to give them a few moments to talk about this particular person. This is not K-State sports related. This is local high school stuff because it's somebody I worked with for a decade, and that's Manhattan High girls basketball coach Scott Mall. Kind of came out of the blue that he has officially announced his retirement. To me, this is a pretty big deal. Scott Mall was just for Manhattan girls basketball, just that, and not even counting previous stops or other programs that he was a part of, because he was also a coach on the track and field team there at MHS. Scott Mall was the coach for the Manhattan girls team for 33 seasons. 33. 464 victories, 262 losses, and then going to previous stops, his all-time win total as a high school coach, 512. Of course, when I first started calling Manhattan High girls basketball back in the let's see, I think it was the 15-16 season. No, maybe it was the 16-17. Anyway, I can't remember what my very first season was, but it was one of those 2 years. I was very fortunate enough to call the 2017 state championship win over Derby. That was a crazy game where Derby came back in the fourth quarter. It was tied. Kennedy Wilson makes a layup with about 15 seconds to go. And then Derby calls timeout with 4 seconds left. They tee up a great play to get a game-winning 3 off. And it rims out, falls to the floor. The final buzzer sounds. Manhattan wins. The young lady for Derby is just a puddle of tears right in front of the Derby bench. I mean, just losing it. Meanwhile, on the other end, Manhattan is celebrating. It's really the first time, even to this day, I've seen Scott Mall really cheer something. Hands up in the air. Yes, like that kind of stuff. Great basketball coach, great person to work with. We were always doing our pregame interviews. I would go to the high school and we'd have great conversations both, during the recording of the interview and even off the air. But I really respect his work because he told me I called him last night, and he told me that over the last 28 seasons, he's only had 3 losing records. I was like, that is
not bad.
That is pretty special at the high school level. I mean, that is a hell of a run. He believes the count is 12 league championships during that time. Won the 2017 state championship, which is the only state championship in program history. But how about this as well? I'll add this to the, if you were to put together like a plaque or whatever, of achievements in the Scott Mall era, I would include this, that he officially ends his run at Manhattan High with a winning streak over a particular team.
Yes.
And this happens to be, and this is, with all due respect to this opposing team, but it is Manhattan's rival. Manhattan has beaten Junction City in girls basketball 36 consecutive times. That is a winning streak that is still going as we speak.
It's like close to 20 years, right?
Yeah, so the last win for Junction City was in December of 2008.
Yeah.
So remember how long ago it was when, Bees and Walker and Sutton and Poland and, Blake Young and Clint Stewart, when, Darren Kent, when those guys beat KU in Bramlage for the first time in program history in Bramlage. It was just a few months later that the winning streak against Junction City started. I was still in high school. I was a senior in high school when it started.
And pretty quick. I mean, it's going to be the streak, and it's already the streak as well, past the age to vote, but the years since it's been, it'll be able to vote.
Which last year's team this past season did win a Centennial Championship.
Really fun team.
Plus, kind of a crazy end of the regular season. Beating Washburn Rural was a huge deal because they did have a lengthy losing streak to Washburn. I don't remember how many games it was, but beating them then on their floor with no Matty Vickery, first of all, but beating them on their floor to win like the Centennial Championship, plus had to hit a late three-pointer to lock in, well, not lock in, just be in the conversation to host the
point differential.
To host Sub-State because of the point differential, which it turned out to be tied. So there had to be a coin flip, which I was there to witness in person with Mike Marsh talking on the phone. Funny stuff. Mike Marsh goes 2 for 2 calling heads, which was already crazy enough going heads instead of
Bold,
tails.
yes.
But he's giving me a wink while he's doing it. I'm like, dude, are you sure you want to do that? Like, your tails never fails. Heads didn't fail him that time, though. So anyway, I want to congratulate Scott Mall on a hell of a run, and congratulations on retirement. I still have no idea how old he is. That has been a mystery to everybody. I remember even saying that to Mr. Marsh, and I was like, I don't even know how old Mr. Marsh is. But he's Mike Marsh also retiring as AD there at MHS. So, of course, we had him on, what was it, about a month ago. He was on to talk to us.
A couple of legends.
Yeah, about his retirement. So I'm sure, I think it's an easy hire on who the next coach is going to be, and it should be Kelly Moylan, who is currently an assistant. She was an assistant for Deb Patterson at K-State for a long time. I think nearly a decade. Played at K-State. Coach Etheridge, when she got the job in Northern Colorado, followed them to Northern Colorado, has just a ton of experience in coaching. I think that is just an easy layup, a hire for the next girls basketball coach. So anything else you want to add?
I've only gotten to interact with them for a year and a half as opposed to your decade. I've thoroughly enjoyed every single interaction I've gotten to have with Coach Mull, and he'll definitely be missed. A true legend for the Manhattan High community.
When they feel like they have an upper hand or they're just having a good season, that press defense can just be suffocating. It's some of the best press defense I've ever seen that Scott Mull would run.
No doubt.
Let's see. You want to squeeze
Let's
in a
just
quick?
Put it in right now.
Yeah,
yes.
Our weekly Royals segment. We are an affiliate. Are the Royals doing okay?
It's kind of the same old as it has. I guess still decent after the All-Star break. They've won 7 out of the 11 games following their time off. They're still only 11 games back in the AL Central, so it's not like they're completely out of contention for a playoff spot, especially because the AL just sucks. They're only 9.5 games back of the third wild card spot, so that just tells you how terrible the AL is. But it's still the third worst record in the league. The trade deadline is approaching. I'm still going to be pounding the table. Trade Michael Wacha while you can. Get some good return out of a dude who hadn't made an All-Star game in a decade. Things have been going decently as late. Salvi making history over the weekend, becoming the home run king for the Royals. That was pretty special, and to win that game as well. Crazy note, they're right now in a streak of 8 consecutive games played, win or lost, it's been exactly one run, the difference between the two teams. So we'll see if that continues tonight. Last night, 20th blown save of the season. Not ideal. Not great.
Lord.
They've had 57 save opportunities and only 37 saves on the season, so not great. They're still injured to heck. I don't know. It's just kind of ho-hum. It's really the only last interesting part of the season is, are they going to sell? Are they going to stay put? I still think they should sell. I think it's kind of the obvious choice at this point, but I don't think they're going to. They've kind of said they're going to just chill, and it seems like that's the way they're trending, which is really frustrating, to be honest.
Well, that would be classic Royals. I mean, to do nothing at the trade deadline other than,
everything's all right.
Getting Cueto.
We're just injured.
Was Ben Zobrist a trade deadline guy?
I don't know when it was.
I can't remember now.
Acquired that season.
Anyway. All right, that's going to wrap it up for hour number 1. We got a packed hour number 2. Joining us for a couple of segments will be the new K-State Director of Bands, Dr. Alex Wimmer, is up next on The Game. Delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
George Soros, Democratic Socialists, and the radical left know you'd never vote for their judges. So far-left lunatics from the New York ACLU are pouring millions into Kansas, dominating the airwaves with a bunch of lies. It's simple. Right now, we have no control over who sits on our state Supreme Court. It's all decided by the rich leftist elite to benefit them, not us. The rich liberals think they're smarter than we are. They think we don't notice that our Supreme Court is weak and soft on crime, that it went easy on murderers, including the notorious Carr brothers and Devonte Wash. But we know better, and together we can stop the radical left. Stop soft on crime judges. Stop their radical agenda. And we do it by voting yes on the Right to Vote Amendment. This Tuesday, August 4th, vote yes on the Right to Vote Amendment. Paid for by Kansans for Democracy. Kayla Glaze, Treasurer.
At Stormontville Health, our patients are our neighbors and our communities are home.
We invest in your health and our community by bringing high-quality healthcare closer to home. From our Wamego Clinic to our new campus in Manhattan and the Flint Hills Hospital in Junction City. Our partnerships with organizations like the Mayo Clinic and the Children's Miracle Network bring top-notch expertise to our region. We take pride in local collaboration to stay connected to our communities. Visit StormontVale.org.
Stormontville Health, high-quality care closer to home.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. Speeding catches up with you, paid for by NHTSA. Congratulations are due basketball star Lauren Betts, just named the recipient of the Honda Cup, given annually to the top female college athlete in the country. Betts is the 6th woman from UCLA to win the award, the most of any school. She guided the Bruins to their first NCAA championship back in April and earned most outstanding player honors at the Final Four. Since graduation, she's tipped off her WNBA journey with the Washington Mystics. Betts' legendary UCLA career is now further immortalized with the prestigious Honda Cup.
Women's sports just is able to change people's lives. You know, you're able to share people's stories. You're able to just really reach the hearts of a lot of young little girls. I'm going to continue to speak my truth. I'm going to make sure that, I leave the sport better than I found it.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amy Lawrence on Westwood One.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Mr. Big Time Capital One Bank guy.
Mom, please.
Well, look at this Capital One Cafe. I just might move in.
Or just drop by. Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week.
I could put my spoon collection right here by the ATM. Yes.
Wow, you weren't kidding, Mom.
I never kid about the spoon collection, son. Oh, hey, what's that thing you always say?
There's no fees or minimums on Capital One checking accounts.
No, the other one.
What's in your wallet?
Oh, that's my boy.
Terms apply. Visit CapitalOne.com/bankguy for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
KS State Bank offers convenient services to help make life a little easier. Visit ksstate.bank to learn more. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. KMAN, Manhattan. News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 85 with mostly cloudy skies, wind out of the south at around 6 miles an hour. Still a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms heading into the evening, then overnight 40% chance mainly after 2 in the morning. That continues until tomorrow at 10 a.m. with a high near 89 after that. Chance of showers in the morning, a gradual clearing of the clouds and mostly sunny skies. 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms Thursday night, a high of 86 with sunny skies on Friday.
K-Man Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452. Welcome one and all to hour 2 of the game after work. Appreciate you joining us today. Mitch Fortner, Cole Dutchendorf, and here in a few moments, Dr. Alex Wimmer from K-State, the new director of bands, will be joining us as he takes over for Dr. Frank Trace after Dr. Trace was at K-State for 33 years. Now the job belongs to Dr. Wimmer. We will hear from him very shortly. Back in hour number 1, we had DY from KSO, Summer of Coleture. We pulled the next movie for Cole to watch for the first time in his entire life. A little quick tribute there to Scott Mall, the former Manhattan High Girls basketball coach. Ever miss any of the show, just check out our podcast afterwards. Just search for the game on 1350 K-Man, wherever you find your podcast. Tomorrow's show, we are doing it again. We are doing the game night, where we're bringing back former hosts. We're playing our favorite games from over the years. We will have Mason v. Music v. John v. Movies. We will have Stump the Shaw. We will have a special Blindly Ranked 5. And for the first time, I believe it's been a couple of years at least since we've done the games Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Of course, it's an exact parody of the actual game show, but Tim Everson from the Mercury is going to be in the hot seat. He's got the first crack at winning $100. He's also chosen his categories 80s one-hit wonders in K-State sports. So there'll be a mix of both. Plus, speaking of trivia, Tim is hosting trivia tonight at Bottle Caps starting at 7. Tonight is the perfect time to go because they are going to be kicking off their new season of trivia. So, continue to go back, pick up those points, and you got a chance to win a handsome cash prize once the season wraps up in a few weeks.
Yes. We will not be contending for that cash prize, I fear.
Well, that's why we're doing Summer of Coleture, because they say smart people are cultured.
Well, it hasn't helped us out yet. I'm hoping in the future it will, but not at this point.
Yeah, the team that won it the last season is they do have a maxed out team. They are older. I'd say older, like they're older than you, a trivia team of 22-year-olds.
Not the most prolific.
You kind of have to bank on a lot of book stuff in there. And you got to be book smart, good, or your expertise of Chiefs football.
Well, usually I feel pretty confident in some of the book smart stuff, and then we get to the pop culture stuff, and that's where we're really out of our element and at a disadvantage for the most part.
All right, well, we are now, and I'll tell you right now, this was a pre-recorded interview that we did earlier today, but I'm glad to play this back for everybody. There is a new director of bands at K-State. His name is Dr. Wimmer. I got a good feeling he's going to be here for a long time to lead the pride of Wildcat Land into the bill every day, and, of course, organizing everything that the band that does, they do either on game day, before or after, even during the summertime. Here's part 1 with my conversation with new director of bands at K-State, Dr. Alex Wimmer. Dr. Wimmer, congratulations again on receiving this major promotion, taking over for Dr. Frank Trace. Congratulations once again.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It's an incredible opportunity. I'm excited for what the future has for the program and for everyone here that's a part of the K-State family, and grateful to be able to continue the legacy that Dr. Trace started, and has lived for the last 33 years. And so it's a major responsibility, one that I don't take lightly, but one that I'm looking forward to having a chance to be able to continue and just to stay status quo.
How'd you find out that you got the job? Was it by surprise? I hope it wasn't just an email, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, it definitely was an email. It was not an email. It was a fairly long interview process with numerous candidates from around the country that have applied for the job, and for those that are listening that don't know, there's a lot of things that go into it. You get invited to do Zoom interviews, and then you get invited to be one of the few candidates that come on campus for the live interview, which was quite the experience, being that I've already worked here at K-State and, kind of interviewing for not exactly my own position, but just, seeing students and in a different capacity and having a different lens on, so to speak, while going through that interview process. And when and I'm not naive or ignorant to just, there are other people out there that are just as qualified and even more qualified than myself for this position. And so when I heard that I was going to be offered the position, I was humbled, I was surprised, I was shocked, I was excited, nervous. Anything that anytime I think a human being is confronted with change, that's something to not be taken lightly, because we are just creatures of habit, and change is good for us, but we push back a little bit. And so, but that was one thing that I didn't push back on, and was happy to accept, and grateful for everything to work out the way that I had dreamed of. I left public school teaching to pursue my graduate work to become a college band director, and was, again, not naive to the fact that I am where I am right now, and it takes a long time for anyone to climb up the ladder, so to speak. And so very grateful for the opportunity, and that I hopefully said the right things and did all the right things to make sure that I was going to be the person for the job.
So is this the dream job? Is this what you've wanted to do for a very long time?
Yes. No. Being for a long time, it was just being a high school band director, and I was very fortunate to be a high school band director at my alma mater in Nebraska, in Gretna, Nebraska, and that was something that just literally fell into my lap, and I was grateful for. And I thought I'd reached the top of the mountain when I just realized I was really on top of a hill. And leaving public school teaching to do this was just not necessarily part of the plan, but became part of the plan for me and our family. And it's something that I dreamed of. I dreamed of being able to achieve, and I'm just really grateful that it's happened the way that it did as quickly as it did.
So being from Gretna, you didn't grow up too far from here. I mean, that's the Omaha area, so 3-hour drive away from here. I'm sure you still have family up there.
Yeah, no, my folks live in Gretna. My wife's family, they live in northeast Nebraska, so a 4-hour drive away. So it's fairly close. A lot. I just had this conversation with some people yesterday. Growing up in Nebraska, Cornhuskers, go Big Red. But once the Cornhuskers went towards the West Coast offense, I'm very much a power I, three back guy. Hit the A gap and ground and pound the ball. That's just the style of football that I grew up with Nebraska football. But when they went away from that, I've always been a K-State fan with Darren Sproles and Terrence Newman and Michael Bishop. And when that happened in Nebraska, I became I became a K-State fan just because of Darren Sproles and small undersized back. Chip on his shoulder, but just destroying people. How could you not respect him like that? But I didn't say that out loud when I was living in Nebraska at the time.
This is an interesting feel-good story we're getting. Yeah. Flipping from Nebraska to K-State. This is amazing news so far. More on the background. When are you first picking up an instrument and getting more and more interested in being a part of band?
Yeah, so my musical background began at the piano. My mom made me take 6 years of piano. I hated every single day of it, but I'm very grateful and fortunate that she forced me to continue with it for as long as I did. And I joined band in middle school. I was in the 7th grade, and I just wanted to do something else other than sit in the study hall, and I wanted to join band. And so I went to the band director, my mentor, my dear friend, and also colleague, went to her and said, "Hey, can I join band?" And she said, "Yeah, sure you can. What do you play?" "I just play the piano." Like, well, we have plenty of percussionists in 7th grade. There are 3 percussionists in 8th grade, but we don't have a tuba. So if you can play the keyboard bass for a little bit and then learn percussion, we'll have you put in the 8th grade band. And that was really the beginning of the end for me. And so I began playing keyboard bass in the 8th grade band as a 7th grader. And then I eventually was taught by, my friends how to play all the rudiments and how to do everything on the snare drum and bass drum and timpani and whatnot. And the next year I was in 8th grade, and I kind of had a leg up because I was taught by upperclassmen, and I wasn't necessarily more advanced, but I had an accelerated path just to learning percussion, and that's really where it started. And growing at that time, Gretna was a smaller town. It's certainly not what it is today, but it was probably about the size of between Wamego and Rock Creek right now, high school wise, and started to really fall in love with music then, and just through opportunities in the band program, grew up playing sports. I grew up playing football and soccer, and in a previous life I was a competitive weightlifter as well. And so just, the combination of all of those things really kind of culminated to me wanting to become a music teacher, and then therefore a band director. And that's the Cliff Notes version of it.
What was your position in football?
I was a tight end on offense, and then I was a defensive end on defense. And we ran a 5-3. And my claim to fame is I got the opportunity to start my senior year on defense, and my job was to hug the line of scrimmage, and once the ball was snapped, if the tackle came out on me, I would just stay parallel to the line of scrimmage, let the Mike or Will linebacker to fill the gap, or if the tackle went the opposite direction, my goal was just to put my head down and go to the mesh point towards the center and just kind of blow things up. And because of my size, in my how low my center of gravity was, it made it fairly easy for me just to be able to maneuver myself around. And luckily for me, when I would come off the line, my shoulder would go like right in the hip of these presumably larger people across the line, and I was able to use my leverage to kind of move people around. And so, anyways, those were my positions. I had my only 2 offensive catches were in a JV football game my junior year. I ran both seam routes, and so I don't remember who we were playing, but I had like a 30-yard touchdown, just a seam route, caught the ball and ran into the end zone, and then we went for a 2-point conversion. They ran the exact same play, and I caught the ball. I'm 2 for 2, I guess, offensively as a tight end.
How many, going back to band and instruments, how many instruments can you play right now?
Anything that is percussion that you can hit. Outside of that, I'm probably the most competent on the trumpet, and that's probably all that I can say right now. So I technically can make sound on all of the instruments. Anyone can make sound on any of the instruments, but percussion and trumpet are probably the 2 that I'm most comfortable with right now. So if you were to give me a trumpet right now, I feel like I could play decently, but anything else, it would be a little bit of a mess.
Dr. Alex Wimmer is our guest, new K-State Director of Bands, taking over for Dr. Frank Trace. But you've been at K-State for a while. How long have you been with the Wildcats?
I did my master's and PhD from 2012 to 2017, and then I became on faculty in 2017 and as the assistant, and at that time there were just two directors, so myself and Dr. Trace. And then as time just kind of went on from 2017 to now, we added a 3rd director, and so I was elevated to the associate director of bands for 3 years, and here I am now as having the opportunity to become the director of bands.
What was it like working underneath Dr. Frank Trace for, as you mentioned, it was about 13, 14 years?
Yeah, it was really incredible. So to be able to be a student of his during my master's and my PhD, that was just an incredible experience. He's obviously a very competent, very skilled, very passionate, very influential person that I wanted to learn from, and to be able to take some of that and be able to apply it to the next job that I was going to get. Fast forward, I never thought that next job was going to be working with him. So to be able to be a student of his, and then to be a colleague and growing to be a close friend of his, it's just incredible. I think I learned something new about him, about music, about leadership, about how to work with people every single day, despite being with him for such a long time, and just being able to anticipate him and know what he's going to say or how he's going to respond in a particular situation. I learned something new from him every single day, and that's something that I hopefully did not take for granted, and something that I will be able to have the ability to do with other folks moving forward. And it was just, it was a lot of fun too. Anyone that meets Dr. Trace or knows of Dr. Trace within 30 seconds of talking with him, is can see what he's about, and just how fired up on life he is, and how much of a people person he is too. And it was there was no dull day in the office, and it was just a lot of fun.
Dr. Wimmer, let's take a break. We'll come back in a moment, and we'll talk about looking ahead, looking forward. Now that you're the director of bands, what you think that will look like moving forward, and we'll continue on with the discussion when we come back. As you're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Help build a better community for tomorrow.
WTC Fiber Internet is on its way to all of Manhattan. Sign your home or business up today at WTCKS.com. No contracts, no data caps, or overage fees. Fast, local, reliable. WTC Fiber Internet. Sign up today at WTCKS.com.
Roar and explore with dinosaurs at the Flint Hills Discovery Center. Step into a world where dinosaurs roam once again as you experience breathtaking animatronic dinosaurs in a unique setting with lifelike movements and sounds. Learn more and plan your next trip. Visit FlintHillsDiscovery.org.
Creating the perfect backyard oasis starts at Midwest Ace. You'll find all your favorite brands like Ego or Steel trimmers and blowers. Fertilize and seed your lawn with Scotts and cook out all summer long with Traeger, Blackstone, Weber, or Big Green Egg. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
Summertime in Kansas. We've got heat, humidity, and the occasional tornado. But this August 4th, we've also got a constitutional amendment on the ballot, and that amendment is totally misleading.
See, the people pushing the amendment say it's about voting for judges. But in Kansas, you already vote on state Supreme Court judges. So here's what it's really about. That amendment will turn fair and impartial judges into paid-for politicians, letting billionaire political donors buy seats on the court and rewrite the law in Kansas. That's why you have to vote no.
So while you're beating the summer heat, do the right thing for Kansas. Vote no on the Supreme Court Judges Amendment. Don't give billionaire political donors the power to buy seats on the court, because the Kansas Supreme Court should never be for sale. Vote no on August 4th.
Paid for by Kansas United for Impartial Courts Chair Micah Kubik.
Presented by Chick-fil-A and Community First National Bank. America 250. Happy birthday, America, where freedom is written, protected, and lived every day.
After independence came a new challenge, building a government for the people. In 1787, the Constitution was written, establishing a system built on balance, rights, and representation. Soon after, the Bill of Rights secured essential freedoms, speech, religion, press, and assembly, guided by leadership of James Madison and the nation's first president, George Washington. America laid the foundation for democracy that would endure for centuries. A government not of kings, but of the people. America 250, built on the power of liberty and law.
Brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Community First National Bank, Faith Furniture, Rothwell Landscape, Visit Manhattan, the Museum of Art and Light, and Manhattan Broadcasting.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Game Sports Update, brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. Longtime Manhattan High School girls basketball coach and mathematics teacher Scott Mall has retired, effective immediately. New MHS Athletics Director Shad Spilsky confirmed to News Radio KMAN last night. Mall spent more than 3 decades helping shape the Manhattan High girls basketball program, starting as an assistant coach. His teams captured the 2017 Class 6A state championship while establishing one of the state's most consistent programs. In addition to coaching, Mall spent 36 years as a math teacher at Manhattan High, part of a 48-year career in education. He acquired 512 victories during his head coaching career. finishing with a 464 and 262 record after 33 seasons as the MHS girls basketball head coach. The Royals blew their 20th ninth-inning lead of the season last night, entering the final inning with a 2-1 lead and losing 3-2 after the Twins rallied to win Game 1 of a 3-game series in Minneapolis. It was Royce Lewis who delivered the heroics for Minnesota, hitting a 2-run walk-off triple to win it for the Twins. The two squads will be back in action for Game 2 in the series tonight, immediately following the game. Pregame at 6, first pitch at 6:40 on News Radio KMAN.
The game continues on KMAN. Mitch Fortner, Cole Dutchendorf across the glass. In studio, we have new director of bands at K-State, Dr. Alex Wimmer. Of course, talking about the new job and talking about band in general. Again, appreciate you coming in and congratulations on certainly the promotion and achieving a dream. That's pretty incredible to hear. We were just talking about Dr. Frank Trace, who was here for such a long time. So I'm sure a part of getting the job is coming in and also, having your own ideas, having your own touch on, just how you take the band moving forward and make sure that, of course, you're keeping up with the tradition, but maybe coming up with new things. So, when you're interviewed for the job, are you presenting new ideas? Do you have new ideas for what the band could do moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing that I just want to make sure that I make crystal clear is that the foundation of this program is not broken and therefore does not need to be fixed. And like you mentioned, the traditions and what people expect to know of the Kansas State University band program, the Pride of Wildcat Land especially, those things, what you see from the outsider perspective, hopefully should and will not change. And if we're doing our jobs right, moving the program forward, what you see and hear in Bill Snyder Family Stadium, Morgan Family Arena, Bramlage Coliseum is going to remain the same. We're going to sound, we're going to look, we're going to be consummate professionals, and we are going to continue and maintain the tradition of excellence that Dr. Trace has established and has really built for the last 33 years. A passion of mine is, and something that Frank did an incredible job with, which is why I left public school teaching to study with him, was just the development of student leaders and the development of human beings through the vehicle of band, through the vehicle of music. And that's one thing that I hope to not necessarily bring to the table or to make better, but just to continue just to give to our students. They come to college and they are, investing 4 to 5 years of their lives and a lot of resources into becoming better human beings and setting themselves up for whatever is next after that. And I really believe that marching band especially can be able to do that for anybody. It can give them a skill set. It can give them confidence because of their competency of what they're doing in the band room, on the field. The skills, the attributes and characteristics that you innately get by being in the band will make you a successful whatever fill in the blank after you leave K-State. So providing our students those opportunities, pushing them to work hard, pushing them to value commitment, to value dedication, to value effort, to value going the extra mile in comparison to their colleagues that might just be punching the clock. And that is just innate with being in the marching band. We're at Bill Snyder Family Stadium 5 hours before kickoff. So if it's an 11 a.m. kickoff, we're there at 6 in the morning. We're earlier than that just to make sure that we're ready for the day. What employer, what person doesn't want a member, someone like that a part of their team? And so I think there's a lot of things that can be done. Music is constantly changing. So as time goes on, programming different music for the marching band, different music for the wind ensemble and the concert ensembles, and hopefully those performances of that music will allow invitations for everyone to turn on their TVs on Thanksgiving and be able to see the K-State Marching Band, the Pride of Wildcat Land marching in the Macy's Day Parade, or on New Year's, maybe like the London Parade, or last April, Dr. Trace took the wind ensemble and they were invited to perform at Carnegie Hall. So having our concert ensembles continue to perform on international stages because of our performance, because of how we sound, and because we are earning those opportunities with what we are doing in the classroom, on the football field, in Bramlage Coliseum. Hopefully more opportunities not for bragging rights, but just having those internationally acclaimed invitations and opportunities is something hopefully we'll be able to look forward to down the road.
I've been going to games since 1997. I can't remember one tweak ever to like the pregame show of football. So I would imagine, nothing like that would ever get touched.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
People give the Kansas Wildcat March a hard time, but that's been played, in pregame forever. So
Well, when John Philip Sousa, writes a march for your institution, you got to play that march. And I know, I pick up what you're throwing down with that too. And I understand that not everyone knows who John Philip Sousa is, but when the American March King writes a piece of music for your institution, that's something that we definitely need to continue to celebrate.
Yeah, believe me, I totally get it. I've always wanted to know, like, how many students are in the band? Does that number vary per year?
Yeah, last year we were at 425, and over the years, it's been around that 400 mark. Even after the pandemic, which is not necessarily surprising, but our numbers were that, and they've been at that level maybe 2018, 2019. And the marching band here, there are other programs that do not have as many folks in their bands, but we are a come one, come all. If you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to put in the time, if you are willing to dedicate yourself for the cause and put yourself over, it's about the team, it's about the ensemble. If you're willing to put yourself aside to allow others to be successful, we're going to find a way to keep you and take you and put you inside the ensemble.
Is there like an off season for the band? Are you preparing during the summer? Do the students come back at a particular time? How long is the work put into perform for a certain amount of time at a home football game, for example?
Yeah. So the planning process really begins once the football schedule comes out. So this past year, what was that? February, March-ish is when the football schedule came out. So once we see the schedule, we're able to build just what our season's going to look like. We need figuring out when Fort Riley Day is going to be, figuring out when conference games are going to be, and based on the schedule, we're able to figure out how many halftime shows we're going to have, and then we start putting our heads together to figure out what's going to be the musical theme of those halftime shows. And that's a really fun process, and it begins in March, and then we do work to secure music, to get music arranged if we need to, and then during the summer is when we start putting pencil to paper, so to speak, and we do the formations that are on the field. That's all digital on the computer, but that process starts in the summer. It's happening right now, and but in the meantime too, we're also getting ready for our band camp, which is coming up on the 16th of August is when new members will arrive, and so we're preparing uniforms. We're preparing instruments. We're preparing all the equipment and everything that the students will need to be a member of the band, compiling all of that stuff right now. And so to answer your question, March is when we really start getting to the planning process, and it's all built around when the games are going to be played.
Some of my favorite halftime shows are like the tributes to bands. The Beatles one, for example. I believe there's also like Queen.
Yep.
Queen's been involved in halftime shows. Do you have a band in mind that you'd like to do a tribute for, maybe a favorite?
That's a pretty loaded question. The students know that I'm a big fan of just rock music in general, and I've had this idea of like a dad rock show, that's and so I have two girls at home, and I know that there's a lot of folks that can empathize with that statement, dad rock, and but that's also a lot of music that can go into it too. So that's an idea that I've been kicking around for a while. Current movies that are coming out, those are always great. I like the Michael Jackson movie that just came out. Some of our music this year will be kind of a tribute to. We're going to do a Thriller on the field. But also at the same time, K-State style and our sound kind of lends more towards, like you were saying, Queen and the Beatles and Chicago, Earth, Wind and Fire, bands, music of that era as well too. So we'll definitely throw a nod to that, but certainly spice things up for the future. So I haven't really had much thought beyond this year, but those are just some ideas just to kick around. If a movie comes out that is just taking things by storm, like one of my favorite shows a couple years ago, we did a Jesus Christ Superstar show, and that when they revitalized that musical to be a live televised production, things like ideas like that just kind of happen are also they make for great halftime ideas as well.
How long should it take a new member of the band to learn the fight song?
If they practice, it should not take long at all. If they don't learn it by the end of our band camp, which is 5 days of playing it, then there's things going on there. But it should not take long at all, just because we play it a lot. We're going to play it a lot. Just to give a flat out answer to your question, less than a day. If they're in camp with us for a couple of days, the long days that we have, they should be able to learn it within a day.
Maybe a hard question to answer here, but do you have like a favorite memory of like the band getting to play at a particular place? You've brought up a couple of examples, either a bowl game or an event, or that just kind of was an honor as a band person to be there.
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question. Someone asked me that question a couple months ago, and I did not have an answer. There are really so many. When we do our pub crawl bands, especially the very, very first one of the year, or we play at Purple Power Play on Points in Blue Earth Plaza, or the first time that we're out, like when we do our band night in Aggieville, seeing someone's eyes and face and emotions light up when they hear the fight song, when they hear Wabash, and they've graduated, they left Manhattan, they're coming back, they're nostalgically reliving a previous life on a Friday evening or somewhere around town, but just to see people light up because of the band playing the fight song or Wabash or Eat 'em Up or something like that. Like that sends chills down my spine. So, I'm getting goosebumps just even thinking about it. But just to see the power of music in people because of something we take for granted every single day. We play the fight song in Wabash so many times throughout the year. It's just something that we do. But just the other side of that coin is just so powerful, and how music can really bring people together. And regardless of how we're feeling, what we're going through, what's happening in life, we can be able to offload that baggage and just live in the moment by hearing music and just being pulled together by that thread. So that's one thing that will never get old for me, despite how many times we play Wildcat Victory and Wabash. That's the only thing that's coming to mind for me right now.
I want to ask you, like, maybe this falls into the category of being like a disciplined member of the band. One of my favorite videos is, you remember the play, the Auburn, Alabama play, the Kick Six? Where
Yes.
Auburn returned it for
Right.
a touchdown to win the game there on a missed field goal. There was a video of the band. It was just a video on the Auburn band. Mm-hmm. The place is just going nuts. The band, the students, the band members are going nuts. Mm-hmm. But if it's the drum major, is like, hey guys, get ready. We're gonna. Mm-hmm. They're going to score. We're going to play the song. So let's say Avery Johnson is busting out a 50-yard touchdown. Mm-hmm. What's going on with the band as he's running to the end zone? Are they getting queued up to, we're going fight song immediately after he scores?
Yeah, no. So that's probably the most fun part of a football game day is just living in the moment, and then having to pivot to continue that energy in the moment as well too. So you mentioned that moment. I think about the Big 12 championship in overtime when the field goal was being kicked, and I remember being there and was just so into the moment and like, oh, we won the game. The kick is good. Oh, we got to do stuff. And so just that's the coolest thing is that the way that we go about operating, so to speak, like, we can be able to do both. We can be fully invested in the moment, and we can be fully invested in just being a fan and being a proud K-Stater. But then in that very next moment, hold up one finger, here, fight song, 1, 2, ready, go, boom, and then the music happens. And just the way, and with how fast paced, like, basketball games are, and volleyball games, and football games, obviously, that's just something that, and students coming from high school, like they're just used to that. So that's kind of that process. And part of our job as directors is we have to not stop that energy and stop that momentum, but at the same time we got to make sure that we're focusing on our job. Once the referee's hands goes up and it's touchdown, hearing your voice, touchdown, then we're ready to go, and we're there just to continue the energy. And after we play, we're high-fiving, we're giving fist bumps, we're pushing each other around in the stands and celebrating like everyone else.
That led me to my next question. As the PA announcer at the Bill, the Good for a Wildcat first downs, am I doing it right? Is there anything I could do to make your job easier? Because, of course, you're listening from me to say, good for a Wildcat, boom, boom, first down. Is everything smooth, okay?
No, you are great. And whenever we have to play away and there is no Mitch Fortner to be able to give us an audible cue, your cadence and your pace is great, because that's something we have to do. We have to turn around to the band and say, good for a Wildcat, first down, and then we have to recreate that. So everything that you're doing, you are setting the standard for us, and there is nothing that you can do other than just continuing to call out more first downs as Avery Johnson rips up 50-yard, 60-yard, 70-yard touchdowns and first downs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal, because there is times I have to maybe go a little faster, or sometimes I can take my time, but it depends on, like, for example, when Colin Klein is dialing up plays, if he wants to push the tempo a little bit, I gotta speed up a little bit. I gotta skip some things to get to the good for a Wildcat first down, but it's certainly one of my favorite things to do. I've been keeping track of every one I've ever done. So.
Yeah, that's great.
One more thing I want to ask about is, whenever maybe a basketball game, it actually really doesn't matter how well the game is going or not, but sometimes if it's not going well, the Cat Band does a great job at sometimes some comic relief. There are some hilarious shenanigans that take place. Like,
I know
doing it at different pitches, and it's hilarious. The shoes, so fun. Who's coming up with all this funny stuff? Is it a group effort?
It sometimes is a group effort. A lot of times it's just someone that just has an idea and it sticks, or we allow it. We say that half of them, I don't even know that they're a thing, just because I'm so focused on the game, especially like basketball. Like, things, change of pace can happen, and by the time I realize what's going on, it's been going on for a couple minutes, and I'm on the back end of it, so it's too late. But we just like we like having fun, and no matter if the Cats are up by a lot, or in a close game, or they're not doing so hot, we want to make sure that we are bringing great energy. We are having a good time, and no matter what, it's go Cats. And I know in the world that we live in today, it's so easy just to be negative on everything. Our goal was my goal as the Cat Band director for the longest time is no matter what happens on the courts, go Cats. We're going to be 100% supportive. We're going to have fun. If people that are going to choose to not have fun, well, we're still going to have fun. We're going to enjoy ourselves and have a good time with one another too. But I'm grateful to hear that you acknowledge the shenanigans that happen.
I'm always paying attention.
And there are some things that we got to shut down, but a lot of that stuff, it's like, okay, well, if they're enjoying it, if they are fired up, I'm not in with what is trending or popular right now with a lot of things. But if they're having a good time, that's all that really matters to me, is that they're having a good time.
I can't remember if it's after a three or a free. I can't remember what it was, but like the band will still say beat Texas.
Oh, so a long time ago at a basketball game, and I can't remember, like, we have these signs that, so if when we hit a three, the band will hold up like these old promotional cards that have like the 3 on it and for whatever reason for that particular game we were playing Texas, and so on the back side of those cards is beat Texas, and so that's why we always say 4-3 beat Texas, and so those signs have been in our basketball music binders for at least 2 decades, I want to say, and so that's the reason why we say beat Texas, even if we're playing Texas or not, because those signs are there, and there are even students that those signs are getting older, so some students like remade them to have a 3 on the front side, and then on the back side beat Texas. It beat Texas. So that's why that exists. So a listener could do some research and figure out when those signs were made. But that's the reason why we do that.
I have one of those signs in my office.
Oh, okay, all right.
So they're from a while back.
Okay,
I want to say they could be about 15 years old.
Okay, all right,
yeah,
sure.
It was a while back. I remember when I first started doing PA. It was 2016-17 for women's basketball, and Brianna Lewis was on the team, and that was like the first name I ever like put its own case, Brianna Lewis. And then I started hearing the band like kind of repeat what I was saying, and they would do a Lewis, but they would drag out the S like it was a hissing snake, and I was like, caught myself, I was like, I thought, are they making fun of me? No, I actually hissed like a snake at the end of that. I never caught that. I was like, just a funny thing. But last thought here, it was always fun seeing Dr. Trace and Chris Kleiman, acknowledge one another. It seemed like they had a really good friendship. Coach Kleiman was always acknowledging the band, like at bowl games and stuff. I'll never forget the Rate Bowl and the band just going nuts for that. Coming down from that long bus trip, because you guys do that a lot for sure. Have you had a chance to talk to Colin Klein yet?
Yes, Coach Klein and I have had a few conversations just about the upcoming season, and saw him at an event about a month ago, and just came by and chatted with him, and so we've talked, and really hope that we can be able to develop a similar relationship that Dr. Trace and Coach Kleiman did. I have to retrain.
I've done that a few times.
Kleiman. Yeah. But would love to continue to maintain those relationships, and also just for everyone to know that we are 100% all in on K-State. Whether it's football, basketball, volleyball, academics. All the other things, great things that are happening on campus. We want to make sure that we are supporting, and we are being partners in every aspect that is the K-State family too. So so have had a couple of great conversations with Coach Klein, and looking forward to to what he's bringing to the table and what the team's going to do, and just be able to be part of rewriting history.
Dr. Wimmer, congratulations again on your success so far, becoming the director of bands at K-State, and we hope you're here for a very long time directing the Pride of Wildcat Land. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you this football season here very soon.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Mitch, and thank you all for listening, and go Cats.
That's K-State new director of bands, Dr. Alex Wimmer. We'll take a break. We'll wrap up the show, and when we come back, Ask Us Anything is after these words.
Get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Every body is different. Some get injured and others wear down. At Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, your unique condition is at the center of what we do. Locally owned, OSMC is all-inclusive, featuring state-of-the-art equipment and treatment from diagnosis through surgery, physical therapy, and a return to activity to get you back to an active and pain-free life. Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, the same doctors trusted by Kansas State University. The greatest comebacks begin here. More information at kansasortho.com.
It is the Big Ten's world in college football, and the SEC does not want to live in it. Their big boss, Tony Fertitta, is saying, hey, you know what? We have 3 straight national championship teams from this conference. We won a 2014 playoff, and the SEC, you better come along for the ride, even though they won 16. Even Brett Bielema, who used to coach in that league at Arkansas, now is the coach of Illinois. He says the SEC is living as if it's 2005, and they better wake up. Wow, this is what happens when you got the champion's belt around your waist, and you're looking at that everybody else and saying, you know what? You want some of this? Come get some. We never thought in a million years it would be everybody else and the Big Ten, but that's where we are in terms of championships. They know it, and everybody else knows it, and apparently the SEC doesn't like it. In 60 seconds, Draymond Green on the why LeBron James is not a Golden State Warrior.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
On Here's the Draymond Green Show podcast, the aforementioned Draymond Green had this reaction to LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers and not joining him, Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, and the Golden State Warriors. He said, and I quote, "I ultimately don't think LeBron was ever going to get over the history, and I understand it. I get it. He's going to get crushed if he comes to the Warriors. Man, you went to team up with Steph. And ultimately, I think that weighed in on that decision a lot. That played a big role in the Warriors not landing LeBron," end quote. Whether he's right or wrong, here's the element involving Draymond Green. Boy, oh boy, that post-NBA career in the media is going to be wonderful for Draymond Green. Whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, and I think there's an element of truth to what he had to say, Draymond Green clearly understands it's not so much about the brand now, it's about the brand in the future, and he put LeBron and Steph in the middle of that. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
News Radio, KMAN, weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 85 with wind out of the east at around 5 miles an hour. Mostly sunny skies for right now. Still a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms heading into the evening. Another 40% chance of rain tonight, mainly after 2 in the morning with a low of 71. That'll continue to tomorrow morning, mainly before 10 a.m. After that, a gradual clearing of the clouds and a high near 89. 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night. Friday, mostly sunny and a high near 86. All right, got a weird one for today.
All right, let's go.
We're going to say that you have to have a vegetable with you as your only weapon of choice and going into a combat situation. What vegetable are you taking into a fight with you?
Now I got to think of all of them and how
thinking,
dangerous they are.
I'm gonna start with the potato because that would work as a pretty good way to maybe stun your opponent. I mean, potatoes, you can get some hefty ones if you throw it just right with enough speed. Probably disorient your opponent also. If worse comes to worse and you're running out of food, that's a great way to fill your stomach a little bit on the battlefield. So I'm going with the potato as my number one overall draft pick. If I'm going into a combat situation, I think potato would be very well suited. Or if you fire them out of cannons, they have potato guns and stuff.
Yeah, but you said a potato. You didn't say there could be an accessory with the potato.
Yeah, I would say potato still overall.
Yeah, man. I was trying to think does particular vegetables do anything when you cook it or you leave it raw? Could I show up that would just get everybody laughing and then I could just walk away?
I'm thinking you could maybe peel a carrot into a makeshift shiv or something. Maybe get it sharp enough to be able to do some damage.
Is watermelon technically a vegetable?
Well, melons are fruits, right?
I don't know.
I think.
I don't keep up with this. I always thought forever a tomato was a vegetable. But no, it's technically a fruit.
Yeah, watermelon is confirmed a fruit.
You don't put fruit on burgers.
You do if they're tomatoes.
I guess. But no, I don't know. Does anybody really look at tomatoes as a vegetable?
I think it's just a healthy middle.
I mean, Gatorade doesn't make a tomato, flavor.
Right. So are you saying
Skittles doesn't have a tomato flavor?
So are you saying why does anyone actually look at tomato as a fruit?
This is a better ask us anything question. Why are we just considering tomatoes a fruit?
I think it's a fruit just botanically speaking.
Well, yes, because of the way it grows. Yes, of course. But does it actually belong in the fruit family?
It's definitely more of a vegetable in terms of cooking, for sure. I
Absolutely.
can definitely go with you there.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about like making a marinara. You wouldn't be able to do that with a strawberry.
No.
Or blueberries. You can make a blueberry jam, but you're not going to make a blueberry marinara.
Well, I was about to say, like, can you name condiments that have fruit? But yeah, obviously. But I was thinking like ketchup,
right?
You know.
But I mean,
just
like, other than that,
this is a different group altogether here.
Fruit by nature, but vegetable by actual what it is.
And plus, I mean, I love fruit. And I mean, I don't know a fruit I don't like other than maybe grapefruit. Grapefruit is why. You know, it's so
also
sour.
just difficult to eat, right?
Ugh. I remember one time I was on a soccer trip and I got a bowl of grapefruit, but I thought it was like something. I thought it was like oranges or something. I thought it was something different. And I ate one. I was like, what is this? And I'm looking around like, what am I eating? Oh, that's grapefruit. I was like, I hate grape.
It's not good.
I didn't realize at the time I hated grapefruit. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this bowl now? I'm going to waste it all and somebody worked really hard to cut this all up?
Yeah, because again, not the easiest fruit to eat in the world.
I do love a mixed fruit bar, though. Like, get a big old, breakfast fruit bar.
I'm with you on that.
Berries and stuff.
Oh,
I'm all about that. Give me some fruit with, obviously want to cancel it out with some panclocks. Get an omelet.
Some sausage links.
Boy, if anybody could tell me the reference with panclocks that I just made, where does that come from?
No idea.
I'll give you $100 right now. That's going to do it. We got the game night. All games tomorrow's show for Cole. I'm Mitch. Go Cats.